up, everybody? This is Ted Karras with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincy Hat, and you're watching Bengals and Brews.
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I am Del Altman, joined by Greg Luther.
How we doing today, bud?
Greg's got weird looks on his face. He's we also have a special guest. But yeah, Greg, you want to tell the people about Midwest Best Barbecue and Chop Shop before we bring in Mr. David Fulcher?
Yep. If you know what's a good thing to do after watching the show? Head on down to Midwest Best Barbecue in Loveland off Ward's Corner, proud sponsor of the show, and also get something from the Chop Shop, like one of these awesome shirts right here or this awesome mug, another proud sponsor of the show.
But we will wait no longer. People don't want to listen to us talk. We've got a special guest. We've got one of the best safeties in Bengals history, probably the best safety in Bengals history, multiple-time Pro Bowler, multiple-time All-Pro, also known as Faux Rock. But Mr. David Fulcher, it is very nice to have you here today, sir.
Hey, guys. How you doing, man? Hopefully you can hear me.
Yep, you're good.
We can hear you fine. We're doing good. You know, I think me and Dale would feel a lot better if the situation with Trey and Stewart gets worked out.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. You would think after so many years of struggling to sign players and getting them down, and the last couple of years seemed like we started to get those things happening, and then here we are again doing the same thing. And I just think it's kind of tough as a player to stand around and watch your teammates practice. But hopefully they'll get it done, because if I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard the guy in front of him, I think he signed, and the guy behind him has also signed. So it's just a matter of time. But once again, you know, we've been dealing with this, man, for so many years. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, it is. And there's reports that it's all about the contract language. And, I don't claim to know all the details, but it's like conflicting reports. It seems like the national media is all over, oh, this is the Bengals' fault, the Bengals, cheap Bengals, and, there's some truth at times to some things, like, they're very tough negotiators. I think they would even say that. But this situation seems like it's, from what's being reported now, is that this language is in a lot of other players' contract. It's just new to the Bengals' first-round picks. So, I don't know how to feel about that personally, but I do know, obviously you draft a guy in the first round, you're counting on him a lot. And then Trey Hendrickson, with him being more of a veteran, how do you look at his situation? And do you expect maybe him to hold out a game? Because it feels like he's pretty dug in, this year, because this has been a 2-3 year type thing. He's been trying to get his new contract here.
Yeah, with Trey, I just, I don't, this isn't about, putting Trey down or lifting him up or doing whatever. But, I don't know. I think it's like $16 million that he's about to get paid. That's a lot of money to walk away from, especially when you're coming from a guy like me back in the 80s when 150,000 was like $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just think that, guys want to secure themselves and their families after they're playing. And, the league is making so much money, so why can't the players make that money? But I hope that Trey can get it done. I mean, once again, how much is enough? Can he live off 16 million? Of course he could.
Yeah.
Is he looking for a deal that when he's, 3 years from now, he's going to retire? Probably. And, if the money's there and other players are getting it, I can see that. And I just think it's unfortunate for the Cincinnati fans, the people who love Trey Henderson, people who love the Bengals and who love watching football. Hopefully he'll get it done and he'll be out there playing. But, a lot of that stuff kind of travels when you start talking about players inside the locker room, frustration, the city. And, Trey was obviously the best guy in sack leader last year, should be paid like anybody else. But, it's football, man. And you're trying to win. And when you're trying to win, man, you do what you have to do, and you got to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, you just don't, because Joe Burrow came out and said, look, yes, this is a distraction. Obviously he feels for Trey and all that, but because he said, we dealt with it last year with T and Jamar. It's like, can we have one off season where you don't go through this once again? But I guess in a way that's the problem. You have so many good players on your team, though, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have it, and I just believe that it has to come down to the point where if I'm a player and I've been playing 6, 7, 8 years and I've been making, $10 to $20 million a year, you know, $5 million less is not gonna hurt my pocketbook. You know what I mean? If I can win Super Bowls, if I get a chance to go to playoffs every year, I'll go back to Tyler Boyd when Tyler Boyd was here and he left and went to Tennessee. Why would you go to Tennessee when that team is finishing fourth in the division every year? Because he wanted to make $2 million more. Yeah, I don't know if $2 million really means anything when you got a quarterback like Joe Burrow. So take the money, man, and the opportunity to win. And but once again, man, they don't make them like they used to. And when I say used to, 30-something years ago, man, I'd have take a $1 million paycheck in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'd take one now. I mean, that sounds
Oh,
fantastic.
yes.
I would take
Yeah.
it now. Yeah.
It ain't even got to be $1 million, man. Shoot, a couple $100,000, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. So you're known for kind of revolutionizing the safety position, being one of the first guys. I mean, 6'3", 236 was what you were listed at when you played, and you were every bit of that. They could move you down as a linebacker. You could cover in the secondary. You could do it all. So you had a fantastic career, and now you're always up for the Ring of Honor. And I'm so grateful the Bengals finally have decided to do that, because I think legends like yourself deserve that recognition, and newer generations should see what you guys have done on the field and how you paved the way, for how football is in general, not just the Bengals. But what would it mean to you and your family for you to hear your name and get that call that, hey, this is your year, you're going in the Ring of Honor for the Bengals?
Well, as far as the Fulcher family, man, we are at ease or at peace with where we are now. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I know it's going to. It's just a matter of when. But for the city of Cincinnati and the fans, this is for them. They have been the breadwinner. I wouldn't say the breadwinner, but they have been the calculus of how David Fulcher played week in and week out. I don't play for me. I play for my team, and I play for the city. And I think the city of Cincinnati deserves a Super Bowl. They deserve the best, and I've already had a thought in my mind when that time comes and they give me that jacket. And I'm probably I was gonna wait to do it, but I can say it. I'm gonna take that jacket off and I'm gonna point around that stadium and say, "This is for you guys. This belongs to you." And that's tough, man, because all I did was when I got on the field, man, I wanted to make the crowd happy and pleased about what I did. And I thought I did that. I wish we could have brought a Super Bowl home in the years that I was here, but I think this city is thirsty for a Super Bowl. I think this city is thirsty for to see the Cincinnati Bengals play well, and hopefully we'll get off to a good start
That'd be nice.
with this season.
Absolutely.
That is probably the most important thing, is to come out running, not walking. And I think we've been coming out walking the last couple of years because we're afraid of getting players hurt. If you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. But I think the city deserves it, and I think the Ring of Honor, like I said, it should have been many, many years ago that we had guys up there, but now we've got it, and let's just open up the floodgates and get everybody up there.
I'll get to this question before, Greg. I'll have you ask another one. But Dustin Croft says, David, there are a lot of teams kind of just dropping into cover two for a huge percentage of the game. Do you have opinions on that as a scheme, and maybe talk about the advantages and disadvantages of a cover two defense?
Well, I mean, the cover two defense keeps you from really throwing the ball over the top. So you got two safeties over the top, and corners are playing loose. Linebackers are dropping to the curl in the flat area. But see, there's so much that offenses throwing at people. They're going to find a way to find the hole. Cover two, when I was playing cover two, man, it was keep the ball in front of you. Don't let the ball get behind you. Anything that come across the middle, you hit it. You can't hit people today across the middle. That's why receivers come across the middle now. But that scheme is it depends on how you run it. You can run two over the top, and you can run man to man underneath. We call that two man when I was playing. LeBeau had us in a two man, everybody playing man to man, and I was over the top like a two zone. Um, but football has changed, man. It's changed so much. When I was playing, we had a tight end, a fullback, and a tailback. They started going 4 and 5 wides, and David Fulcher was no longer needed. And things change. And I think the cover two defense it gives you a chance to on defense to breathe a little bit because you're not playing man to man. But you can't sit in cover two all day. But once again, man, I mean, you got to put pressure on the quarterback, and it don't matter what defense you're playing is. If you put pressure on the quarterback, he's got to throw the ball quick, and you can make plays on defense.
Absolutely. So, Dave, the Bengals safety position right now, Jordan Battle, it seems like the last 2 years, every time he's played great. But, they got Von Bell back last year, and they kind of benched Battle for him. And so it looks like Battle finally gets to start. And Geno Stone, he didn't start out too well last year. I thought he did okay at the end. What is your take on the Bengals safety room right now?
Well, I that's a position I watch every time I'm at the game. People always tell me, "What are you looking for? What do you look at?" I look at the defense. I don't look at the quarterback throwing the ball. I look at these guys, how deep they are, how aggressive they can be when they come to the line of scrimmage. One of the toughest thing about being a safety, and I know that when Von Bell came back, I think the Bengals thought that Von was going to have, the Von that we had a couple of years ago, and it didn't turn out that way. And now Battle's back, but I tell people the story about how I can measure high school, college, and professional football. I base it on volume, the music in your car. When you're in high school, you're probably 0 to 1 or 2 on the volume in your car. College, probably somewhere between 3 and 5, 3 and 6, and then pros it's 10. So when you get in your car and you turn that music on and you're listening to a song and you're only on 3, well, you're probably a senior in high school or freshman in college. So I'm telling people it is a game of speed, size, and knowledge. When I say speed, I'm not talking track speed. I hear these guys running these 4.2s and 4.5s and whatnot. I ran a 4.6, 4.65. I knew I wasn't the fastest guy, but I was very smart on knowing where the football was. And when you got guys that play like that, the fastest guy is not always the best guy, or the strongest guy is not always the best guy in football. But you have to have some kind of knowledge. You got to know where you're supposed to be on the field. You got to know what your responsibility is, and you got to find the football. And if Battle can find the football, he should be the starter and he should play. I don't care what college he came from. Football's the game of tackling and throwing and catching, blocking. And if you could do that, you could play in this league for a very long time.
Absolutely. Got another question here from the chat. Anthony asked, in your career, was there a certain player that you just like hit more than others when they would come across that middle? Or maybe, add to that, did you have a favorite hit? If you don't want to say, like, I just really didn't like this guy, or he was good and I really wanted to hit him, it can go a lot of ways with that.
Well, what's funny about that, man, is anybody that was in the AFC Central, in the North, or whatever it is today, we didn't like. When we played the Cleveland Browns, it was Webster Slaughter. Webster Slaughter, wasn't a real big guy, but he had a really big mouth, and he talked so much. And when you see that, back in the day when we were playing, it wasn't the Pittsburgh Steelers. We didn't like them, but they didn't draw our attention like the Cleveland Browns or the Houston Oilers, now Tennessee. When we played those teams, man, there was a lot of smack talking. We played them in football, and we also played them in charity basketball games around Ohio. So, I just, Webster Slaughter, and then even in Warren Moon and that run and shoot with Haywood Jeffries and, I don't know the little guy. I can't remember his name. But those guys were a lot of mouth talking. And then you had running backs, Kevin Mack in Cleveland, Alonzo Highsmith in Houston. Guys that just talk too much. You just said to yourself, hey, man, let's just play football. But then when they started running their mouths, then the only way I could talk to them is by putting my helmet in their chest.
Yeah, Absolutely. So the Bengals have a new defense coordinator in Al Golden. He has been here before. He linebacker coach, obviously, when we went to the Super Bowl last time. What are realistic expectations for the Bengals defense with Al Golden back as defense coordinator, who's done very well at Notre Dame prior to coming back?
Well, I think what he's trying to do, man, is get that defense to be more aggressive. Have them do some things, that they probably didn't do a year ago. And how he had Notre Dame's defense flying around. It's a little bit different when you're playing college football and you've got, these 17, 18-year-old kids with fresh legs that can run all over the place. But then all of a sudden, now you're back in the NFL and he's familiar with the Bengals. Some players are familiar with him. He's just trying to bring the aggressiveness out. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals football team outside of defense last year was Super Bowl contenders.
Yes.
And I look at what they do today, and the offense is going to score points. The defense got to stop people from scoring. And last year, if you're scoring 30 and giving up 36, you're not going to win. And I don't think that this football team wants to see that again. That's why Golden's in here trying to revamp this defense. And I think they're going to be successful. I mean, I'm once again putting pressure on the quarterback. The front seven has got to play lights out because it takes a lot of pressure off on the DBs when it's time to play zone, when it's time to play man. You got to get linebackers to drop deep enough to keep the ball in front of them. I'm excited to watch and see what they're going to do. And once again, you got to be healthy. And if you stay healthy and nobody gets hurt, you got a chance to be in the big show at the end of the year.
Hey, Dave, so out of these two defensive ends, you have Miles Murphy, Joseph Asai. Both those players have big prove-it years, in my opinion. Out of those two, who do you think has more to prove between those two?
I'm going to Miles Murphy because you draft him, I think number one, and
First round.
and he's not playing. I mean, I understand that Trey was on the field and Hubbard was on the other side and other people, but you don't draft a number one player and he sits around and just collects a paycheck.
Right.
I don't know if it's because he may not be picking up the system. I think sometimes when guys get to the pros, they throw them in a system and sometimes the system doesn't work for them because they don't know it. And I think as defensive coordinators, a la Dick LeBeau, when David Fulcher came in, LeBeau said, I don't want this guy standing on the deep half, playing cover two all the time, so I'm going to bring him to the line of scrimmage. So LeBeau took the gift that I had, created the zone blitz. I like to say that because all them Pittsburgh Steelers fans think that Troy Polamalu did it. No, I started the zone blitz. And, when he brought me to the line of scrimmage, there's a fifth linebacker at the line of scrimmage. So defenses had to adjust of seeing 33 at the line of scrimmage. Well, if you don't have a system that's going to be adjusted to a player, then you're asking that player to do something out of nowhere, and can he play in that system? So I think Myles Garrett, to me, has more to prove than Joseph. But once again, they both got to prove that they belong on the field, so they got to do their job.
Absolutely. What is one thing that has changed? I know there's a lot of things, but what is one thing in the NFL that has changed since you were playing that you wished would kind of go back to the way it was?
Well, the physicality, hitting people, I don't want a quarterback wearing a skirt playing in the NFL. I mean, I don't want a receiver that comes across the middle, and if you bump him or you hit him, you get penalized for that. I mean, let us play. I mean, I can understand the safety purposes, but let them guys play. I mean, we played back in the day. I can understand them not wanting to see a quarterback get hurt, but, he's playing in the National Football League, and if he does not want to get hit, then go find another job. But, you got to let them play. Got to let them have fun, and, let's see what the cards lay when a guy goes out there and he gives his all, and the referee is not going to protect you.
Absolutely. Dave, I want to go back to another. So I'm going to go back to Stewart. So when the Bengals drafted Stewart, he's got all physicality tools, but last 3 years, only a sack and a half. What's your take? I mean, it sounds like there's no such thing as a for sure player, but Stewart, he's got all the tools, but the stats don't show it. What's your take when you see that in Stewart?
Well, I was a little concerned too when they drafted him, and I hear that he only had a couple of sacks. But I think what he what he shows on film
Mhm.
is that he's around the football all the time. Now, being around the football all the time and don't get a chance to make a tackle, the tackles are coming. So this guy has the physicality and the demeanor to go get the football. And kind of and I'm gonna kind of reminds me of myself when I was in college. I mean, I did a lot of stuff in college and jumping over linemen and taking on blockers, two or three blockers, and realized that the NFL wasn't going to allow me to do that. So I had to figure out where the football was going, um, who had the ball, when it was anticipating a throw. So I would say that by him coming into the NFL, it's going to be a little faster, but you look at him on film and he's a step away from getting a sack. He's a step away from making a tackle. And if he could take that energy and bring it to the NFL and dominate what he does and get better over the years, who knows? He could be a 10 sack guy in the NFL. And because he didn't make a lot of sacks in college, doesn't mean that he wasn't around the football. And I think that's what he brings to the table.
Absolutely. You graduated from Arizona State.
Yes.
How great was it seeing them in the playoffs last year? And I think this year they're going to be pretty good. Obviously, Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson, a couple guys that are back. Cam Scatabo was very fun last year. But how fun was it you? Because I think you go back quite a bit to Arizona State. And how much did you enjoy that playoff run for your Sun Devils?
Well, what's funny, man, is that they were picked last in the Big 12, whatever that Big 16, whatever conference they're in. And
I can't keep up with it.
me neither, man. And they came here to play UC, lost that game because they didn't have their starting quarterback, and then they ran off 6 or 7, 8 games to get into the tournament. Should have beat Texas.
Yeah.
The no call that they didn't call that targeting call on the receiver that got hit. But I look at that and I go, the next game is in Texas. Who's going to bring more people to that game, Texas or Arizona State? So, the NCAA sent Arizona State a I'm sorry letter, and who wants those some I'm sorry letter made a mistake. But I think they're a pretty good football team, man. I think Coach Dillingham is the perfect guy to get those guys motivated. Very young, enthusiastic coach. Players want to play for him. And with the portal and all the transfers, and these guys get to pick and choose where they want to go. It makes Arizona State a dominant football team again in the conference, as well as an opportunity to get to the national title.
Absolutely. Greg, you got another one?
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. Besides yourself, and we'd love to have you back, obviously. What is one player you would love to bring back on the Bengals team that could help them out right now?
Oh wow, I'm not sure with that one, man. I don't know, man. I mean, I tell you, one player who probably shouldn't have left was playing down in Atlanta, playing safety.
Yeah.
I could have stayed here. But once again, when you look at that, you say, okay, I got this young kid who's pretty good. He got a 1-year contract. That deal, they tagged him, $14 million. Played decent on that year, not incredibly good, but played decent. And the Bengals said, no, I think we got to realize something. If you're going to win championships, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, you got to find a way to keep your players here. You have to find a way. And how do you find that way? The star players that leave this franchise aren't leaving because they want to. They're leaving because financially it's a little bit different. I'll go back to 1993 when the Bengals released me. I wasn't making a lot of money, but they brought in a safety named Lance Gunn. And Lance came in here and he was pretty tall, 6'2", about 220. They thought he was a David Fulcher. And me as an owner or a coach or defensive coordinator, I may not get rid of David Fulcher because I want David Fulcher to groom Lance Gunn.
Right.
So, David, you're going to start, but you may become a backup throughout the year because we want Lance Gunn to be another David Fulcher. But when you fire David and you move home with him and say, Lance, this is your position, and he doesn't turn out to be what you want because you cut him before the season start, That's called bad managing, bad general manager, bad scouting. And David Fulcher would have stayed here in Cincinnati making less money to play in Cincinnati because this is my home. This is my hometown. This is where I love to be. That's why I stayed here. That's why my foundations are here. That's why my kids have been raised and born here. My grandkids are now being raised. And I do so much in Cincinnati. It's not because of the money, it's because I love this place. But once again, if Jesse Bates never would have left Cincinnati, I think that secondary would have been pretty good.
Yeah. And you mentioned some of the stuff you do, and we told you we'd get you out of here around 30 minutes. So we're getting close to that mark. So I want you to go ahead and talk about, I know you got the Mentoring Against Negative Actions program, the Fulcher Foundation, which helps those affected by multiple sclerosis, and just some of the things you're doing or some of the things you got coming up for people to know about as well, and how to find you and help support some of these organizations that you're part of.
Well, when I stopped playing in '95, my wife Judy was diagnosed with MS in '97. So we started doing some things for MS. We had put a golf tournament on to raise money, and we were giving that money to the National Society. And then I started realizing that all the money that we were raising wasn't going where it was supposed to go. So we decided to start the David Fulcher Foundation, Fulchers for Life, where now we are one-on-one with families, husbands, wives, daughters, whoever it is that has MS. And my wife and I do a lot of autograph signings. I do a lot of tailgating with Bengal Jim. I'm going to the Jungle Jam. I'm going to a golf tournament tomorrow in Goshen as a memorial tournament for a young man. I'm signing autographs, hitting a golf ball on the par five. I'm teeing off of them, and I come out there with all my stuff that my wife makes from the foundation. She makes a lot of bling earrings. She got jackets. She's got vests. I got 8x10s. I got footballs. I got mini helmets. And when I go do autograph signing, I bring all that stuff with me. And then I sit down and people can buy them. And like I said, at the end of the year, we'll pick 5 or 6 families from our Gift of Hope program. And we'll wind up giving them toiletries, necessary basket, $500 to $1,500 of cash and prizes, and we just try to take care of those people. And my wife, she'll tell you she has MS, but it doesn't really have her. And our goal is to help those families, and that's why I do what I do. If anybody wanted to get in touch with me about speaking or autograph signings, you can go to fulchersforlife.com, FULCHERSFORLIFE for life.com. And whatever's out there, man, we don't mind doing it. We just love what we do and having fun with making sure we can help those families that are affected by MS.
Absolutely. And I mean, we got a very generous fan base that, loves to do a lot of things. As if you don't already have enough on your plate, I will mention that we are part of a thing called Project Game Day. So it helps to get individuals with disabilities and military veterans and active duty military to Bengals games. So maybe we could collaborate in the future on something. We usually do an event around draft time. And we'd love to connect and do something with both our foundations, help both groups out there.
Hey, anything you guys got going on, man, you got my number, man. Give me a call. Let me know. Text me. And if I'm available, I'll be there.
And Dave, I've met you at multiple signings you've done over the years. And every time I met you, you've just always been so awesome to everybody. And I can't thank you enough for what you do, buddy.
And man, I tell people this here. Somebody asked me the other day at the charity softball game at UC, why are you so humble? I said, you know what? My job was to play football. And I love playing football, but I'm the same guy on and off the field. I try to do my job, and when I'm off the field, I try to do my job to please the people and take care of the people that I know.
Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate it, and we appreciate your time today. And rooting for you for the Ring of Honor and all of the success for everything in life for you and your family. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Y'all take care, man. God bless. See ya. Bye.
Bye. Good guy right there, Greg.
Wow. How awesome was that? I mean, such knowledge of the game David Fulcher has right there and all that, David Fulcher.
He stays involved. Like, you always see him around. Like, I think I bumped into him before going to the restroom.
I was just going to get lunch with a buddy of mine someplace one day, and he just sets up and just signs, he's just setting his autograph stuff, selling autographs and all that. And I've met him at 2 or 3 separate events, and This was like in years apart.
So are you stalking him? So you're stalking him.
No, I wasn't stalking him. I happened to go to lunch one time. Then I happened to go to another event where he was at. No. Fulcher, every time I met him, nicest guy in the world. And the Fulcher we all just saw right there, that's the same Fulcher I've met so many times. Just such an awesome person.
Yeah, and our buddy Chop, he's under the weather, so that's why he couldn't tune in today.
Yeah.
Derek still works nights. We never see or hear from Derek. But so me and Greg did this one, and it was great having Fulcher on. I don't really have a lot beyond that, Greg. Is there anything Bengals-wise? I am kind of sick of talking about Trey. I'm kind of sick of talking about Shamar Stewart. I mean, it does sound like with Shamar that, that this language is in other contracts, which is kind of new news, at least to us as fans, because that sounds like something that's just came out in the last couple of days. And if that's the case, then it's like, come on, man. Why not? Like, you need the development. I want them to get it done. I don't want to spend too much time.
Yeah, Dale, it's just that this just gives all the negative people out there an excuse to come after the Bengals. And I'm just tired of it. But I can't blame some of these experts. I'm just so tired of hearing it. Like, Stewart saying, look, I think it's his agent saying, oh, I'm leaving because I don't want to be a distraction. Well, you already are. It's not going to make it any better by you leaving. Why won't you stay there? I mean, Dale, it's just, Dale, I'm Mr. Positivity. I'll still be Mr. Positive, but I'm not getting a lot. They're not giving me a lot to work with right now, buddy.
Yeah. And then Tina asked if you've seen her pic with Yoshi.
Tina, I'm sure. Yeah, I knew you were at the game. I know Yoshi was taking a lot of pictures of people.
Oh man, great! Now he's got to look it up, Tina. You got me,
Tina. Now you know. Now you got me looking it up now, Tina.
I mean, Greg, that could have been you.
I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh, Tina! Wow, I'm so jealous of you, Tina. That's awesome. I hope you had a good time. I got to make it down to the softball game one year. I got to make it down one year. That seems like an awesome time.
I mean, did you give him a hug and did you say this is from Greg? Greg,
right.
And he's like, oh, I know Greg. The restraining order. That guy got the restraining order.
If I ever meet Yoshi, I'll still try to get the candles signed by him. I really will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit and go over this stuff just over and over. I understand people being frustrated, and I think there's details that we probably don't know. We don't know the exact language of the contract. We don't know if the Bengals are trying to put in something that's typically not common in some of these, or if it's exact same as the others. Like, until the Bengals come out and tell us something about that, or somebody that actually knows. I mean, we can hear it. Their agent is obviously going to say, no, this is them trying to sneak something in that shouldn't be in there. But I'm just ready for football, honestly.
Well, I tell you what I am ready for. I will be touring the stadium tomorrow with Cincy James and all that and stuff. So, you saw the dot bot at Great American Ballpark. And hopefully the weather holds up tomorrow. I can go out in the field, but the dot bot will be performed on the field. I got plans tomorrow visiting the stadium. And Yoshi's locker, if it's not blocked up, oh, baby, I will steal everything from Yoshi.
No, man, they're not letting you anywhere near Yoshi's locker. They are not letting you sniff his jock strap. That's not happening, Greg. Forget about it.
I got plans for all this, buddy. I have a bunch of plans.
Dustin says, you guys got any thoughts on the tone of OTAs and the coaching? Sounds aggressive and detailed. And he thinks coaching is everything in football. Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask him about Al Golden, and the return of him, because the Bengals are banking on it. But I do like, and the players are saying he's very detail oriented. And I like how he's moved the corners around. We've talked about that some, cross training them positions, even, let safeties, corners, safeties, and different spots, slot outside for the cornerbacks and having versatility, because injuries are going to pop up. You're going to need to get your best guys out there. So I like everything I'm hearing so far about Al Golden. Yeah. And I think that can make a big difference. Not hearing as much about the O-line. Obviously, you got the battle with Cody Ford and Lucas Patrick. But, the new O-line coach, too, that you hope. We know, a lot of hand fighting and a lot of hand usage stuff that he's focused on with his MMA background and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that all helps. I think it was time for changes at those spots. So, the coaching could mean everything.
Yeah, and you know what? Did you watch Orlando Brown's interview with Gruden?
I have not watched that yet.
No, so I caught up it, and he was asked about. He brought up Fairchild, and you know what? I'm not trying to downplay this sort of thing. He's very positive about Fairchild, but we hear a lot, positive. See, the thing is with the offensive line, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't want to hear, oh, he's looking good at camp. He's looking good at camp. He's got a lot of potential. I don't want to hear it till I see it on the field. That's just my taking and all that.
I'm not the Dotbot King. That is Greg.
Oh no, Dale.
No, I am not. I don't. That's not my move. That's your whole move. That's
yeah. But like I say, no, he seems very positive. He's very excited for the season. And hey, Orlando Brown, good friend of the show of ours, Pork Chop's best friend, also pretty much. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy for the excitement. But like with the offensive line, when we saw Patrick was in a cast, I guess he's back and all that. We have Cody Ford. We talked about this. Nothing against Cody Ford. It's just that. I don't know. It's like I know there are available guards out there, and Santori said to us one time, there's a reason why you have Sheriff, Reisner, all of them in free. There's a reason why they're still in free agency right now.
But I mean, you could say that about year after year too. That Reisner's been out there, and then when he plays well.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Sheriff's very proven. I just don't know if he even wants to play football. And some guys don't want to sign till training camp. So.
What?
I understand that, like, they're out there for a reason. And then, I mean, obviously Hernandez, he legitimately, you've talked about that before.
Yeah,
he wasn't cleared to practice yet, so he's been out there for that, still coming off an injury.
And you have what's his name, Dwight Freeney. His last couple of years, he didn't sign till the start of the season, and he didn't play till like the end of the game. But boy, he came in when the game mattered the most and got that big sack. I can tell you that, buddy. I mean, Julian Blackmon. I read somewhere on All Bengals what Al Gordon talked about, hey, if there's a player out there that can help us, we're for it. So doesn't mean they're going to go sign anybody, but he did not shut the door on free agents, though, he said. So.
Well, the front office will do that for him. They'll say,
they'll do that for him. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
$30 million. No, we can't. It's bonus checks for all of us front office members / family. No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but the cool thing is the offense, at least we never have to. I mean, you still have to worry. You never have to worry about the offense. Hopefully, as long as everybody stays healthy, the offense, you don't have to worry about. The defense, I think you can read the fans this year. We're just totally focused on the defense. I mean,
just need to see improvement. And that's the thing. That's why I wish, Trey was in here and that was taken care of. And he was, in here working with Al Golden and how Al Golden wants to do things. It may be a little different even for him. But obviously, see quarterback, go get quarterback on passing downs. I think he'll still be fine there. But Stewart also, I just want to see these guys in there practicing personally. But I'm excited because I want to see Al Golden work with them and have time with them. And, the real thing starts. When does training camp start here?
July. Oh, well, duh. It just came out.
Like a month?
Patience is a virtue, everybody on here. Hold on one second. Here we go. The training camp. Give me a fucking break. Training camp. Wednesday, July 23rd.
Okay, so a little over a month they have till that starts. So they have, they've got time to work this out. I just don't know how much they even care. I think they're kind of like, hey, Trey's going to play on what he has, and Shamar, here's the contract, buddy. Sign it or not sign it. And man, you've seen people talk about would he re-enter the draft?
Right.
If you want to make a lot less money, because setting out a year is not going to help you. But then the Bengals are also that's what I tweeted the other day. The Bengals would also be lighting a first-round pick on fire because you don't get nothing for him leaving. You're just out that first-round draft capital you use. So I just think that is just bad for both sides. Something will get done. I just wish it would get done.
Right. He wants to be there. I mean, you see his interviews, he wants to be out there and all that. But let me ask you this. We're still on the subject of Stewart. Does he have the right to say, though, obviously what he says is true, but as a rookie coming in who hasn't even played a snap yet or anything, does he have really the right to say all that? Oh, the Bengals are being cheap or anything? Trey has a right because he's played for years. But I don't know what to think of with Stewart on that, though.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I mean, I said, I agree with what he's saying. The Bengals do a lot of times want to win negotiations, and we've all said that as fans a lot of times. But you can't say that. That's a guy who hasn't played it down, who hasn't even signed his first contract. You just shouldn't say that. I mean, you can because you did, but you
Right.
probably shouldn't have said that. But he's frustrated. You know what I mean? Because he wants to be out there, and this just seems so silly of a thing to him, where it's like, hey, the last couple first round. I try to see both sides, and I get it from both sides. I hope something gets done before training camp, because I don't think we need this bull crap when we're going into training camp, because training camp is when, hey, it's go time. It's time to get our work in. Preseason's going to be starting not long after training camp, and then you're in the season and it's go time for real. So, when training camp starts, that's when, I'll be a lot more invested in how all this stuff's going on at that point. Like right now, what they've missed, I'm not as worried about it, because there's a ton of players that miss this time every year, and it usually doesn't have much of an effect. But training camp, that's when it's really go time, and I don't want to see the Bengals get off to another slow start.
No, and Dale, you look at the schedule, it could easily happen. I mean, we have to start out like 2-0. Like I say, we cannot lose to Cleveland. Is this a fair? I will never feel this way, but if they lose to Cleveland, Dale, is that how much of a damper is that going to put on you if we lose our opening game to Cleveland?
I mean, it'll be frustrating, but it's not like, after last year, there was no way in hell I thought that Patriots team was beating
I never
at
even
home.
thought of that.
At home, the first game of the season, with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback.
Yeah.
So the fact that happened, I will not be surprised at all if Cleveland beats the Bengals, but should they? Hell no, they shouldn't. We don't even know who their quarterback's going to be. They're still shuffling around their line, trying to figure that out. On the offensive side, I don't think they've got a ton of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Now, their defense is going to be good, and they typically give Burrow problems, especially when we play them early in the season. So I think it'll be a tough game, but the Bengals do need to be able to go up to Cleveland and find a way to win that damn game, period.
Absolutely, Dale, absolutely. And that's in the offensive line. I mean, the problem with us, our offensive line, is we're going up against the best talent that happens to be in the division. I mean, you have two of the best pass rushers in the league happen to be in the same division. Ravens, with their interior D line, that's good. And the web, some of the draft picks they've added. Oh my gosh, it's just wow.
Yeah, like, hey, how did they keep you from being good? Why did you suck in the second half, David Fulcher? Come on, crap, you want it?
Yeah, it's going to be raining like it did that one time, Dustin, 2 years ago. Oh my gosh.
That was when the weather happens. It's like, at Burrow, it's just tougher, because we are relying on our offense. If they can make it an ugly game, they'll find a way to make it rain.
Yeah, the last time we won our first game of the season, you know what happened? We made it to the Super Bowl. I was at that game. My brother had a wedding the night before. I told my brother and my sister-in-law, I am not missing that opening game of the season. I will leave the wedding if I have to. And they moved it a day ahead I'm just kidding. They did. They planned it. But, yeah, I was not going to miss that game, though. But, yeah.
You would have had to go to the wedding, Greg.
I had to go to the wedding.
But who has weddings on Sundays? People have weddings on Saturdays, typically.
It was on Saturday, yeah. So, no, it was on Saturday.
You were always good.
I was always good, yeah. But no. Anyway, Dale, like I say, though, man, I have a lot of expectations this year. Realistically, how many wins do you think that they're going to win? Just be honest.
No, we went through after the schedule came out, and I ended up at 11-6. I'm not going to change it right now. Now, if we get closer to the season, we still got these issues with Trey and stuff. I might, knock that down a game or two. But
I might knock it down just to light a fire a little bit or something. I know this has come from Mr. Positivity right here, and I'm still going to be positive. Like I say, I got to think back to a couple of years ago where I didn't even know where to start with this team. Before we had Burrow, my buddy asked me, "What do we do?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know where to start and all that." So at least we have our offense.
You pray for Joe Burrow, and
you pray for Joe Burrow. Is what you do. You just pray for the guy and all that. Is what you do.
Now you have him, so don't make it worth having him. And I'm still feeling 11-6, and I just feel like we don't need the defense to be great. We just need the defense not to be a bottom 5 defense in the entire NFL. We need the defense to get that 1 or 2 more stops per game. We need to make a team punt at least once or twice in a game.
That Ravens game in the whole second half, they only punted once. We just needed one stop in the fourth quarter, and we would have had the game. And the God gave us a gift with that bad snap by Lamar, and we were going down the field, and hey, let's kick a field goal. When our offense was kicking ass the whole game. I don't know if you remember this, Sale. I don't know if you remember this. There was a running play we had before we kicked the field goal. Jamar was all by himself, one-on-one coverage with Humphrey. And I would have taken that shot every day. If he would have made one juke on Humphrey and we were to throw a little pass to him, we would have won the game. I mean, like I say, I'm not trying to go by the past, but I just have this team is just in such good position right now. And just the defense, I just don't, like you say, it's all relied on Al Golden. They're putting all their eggs in a basket for Al Golden right now. And I applaud what he did there today. My brother-in-law, diehard Notre Dame fan, he at first told me Al Golden's not going to leave. He's the highest paid DC in college football. So clearly he wanted to come back here because he had unfinished business. Am I right?
I mean, I think that's part of it. Some guys just like the NFL more too. And that was one thing for me. It's like, I know if I was coaching, I'd rather coach in the NFL because college, you're on all these recruiting visits and this and that. Now with NIL money, that seems like that's becoming kind of a headache to probably be a coach in the college ranks. Probably a little less in the NFL. You still got contracts and different things, but yeah, transfer portal, all this. Like, hey, I put all this work into this guy. Now 20 guys are in the portal. Just every year you're banging the head off the wall. You're recruiting the portal. You're recruiting on the road. You're recruiting this and that. Yeah. It's like I just want to coach ball. And that I think, being in Cincinnati, he gets to focus on that.
Well, and now you have guys like the Tennessee quarterback who threatened to sit out an important playoff game. I mean, Iowa sport players getting paid for years, but there has to be – you have to set a boundary for this. This is just ridiculous. Do you think it's hurting college football personally?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's getting to that point that there probably needs to be some regulations because, I mean, and we'll just see. Like Texas Tech, I mean, they spent a boatload of money this offseason. We'll see how they do because, I mean, they went heavy in the transfer portal, got a bunch of guys that should help that team. So, I don't know. It's one of those things. I think big programs are still big programs, and we'll see. We'll see. I think it's still early on right now. I don't think it's. I think college football is still pretty fun, but we'll see.
Well, you're not affected. See, why Dale's not affected because he's a Buckeye fan. Buckeyes have all the money to spend on players. That's why you're not affected by this, Dale.
That's part of it.
Oh, come on. Yeah. There we go. The truth comes out.
Hey, UC got a fancy new facility, Greg. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, we got a fancy new facility. Okay, so our basketball team every year, like our coach Wes Miller, gets these top recruits. He wins the recruiting. Okay, can you coach him, though? I like Wes Miller. I got buddies telling me, Wes Miller's up and coming. Wes Miller's up and coming. Okay, he's getting the recruits, but
yeah.
Hello? But Wes, if you're watching this, all up, buddy. I hope you do.
No, Greg hates you, man. Greg said you suck at your job. You need to be better.
Yeah, exactly.
But who's the football coach? Satterfield? He said you suck. You suck at your job too. He said you shouldn't even be the coach anymore. He's tired of all your shit. His name is Greg Luther. He lives in Madeira. You can find him at Midwest Best Barbecue quite often if you want to kick him.
Wearing the Chop Shop T-shirt, proud sponsors of this show, Dale. Proud sponsor of the show. But yeah, man, no, like I say. But back to what Fulcher was saying. He was talking about speed. He's like, you don't have to have speed all the time. I mean, is speed a big deal? Because I've talked about this forever, Dale. And, you being a draft expert and all that, I get it. The 40-yard dash is a big deal. Okay, well, how is he at shifting routes? How is he at doing this? Or if you remember we had Carl Pickens on, he talked about Dion. Yes, Dion had the speed, but speed is not everything. Can he outjump him? Can he do this? Can he do that? I think speed, I don't want to use the word overrated, Dale, but I just think there's so many more attributes you need to worry about besides speed.
It depends. I think position, depends on the position. And like even a wide receiver, like if you got a bigger body guy that's good at jump ball, like T. Higgins had a terrible relative athletic score, but that's not what his game is. He's a smooth route runner. He make those contested catches, and he's just a reliable target for his quarterback. So it just depends. I mean, I think speed can help. I think it's good. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing by any means.
No.
If you got more speed, but you have to have the other things. Burfict's another good example, just had a terrible process up through, and he's not the most athletic guy, but his instincts were unbelievable. So it depends on positions too, like a linebacker with really good instincts that knows what's going on, what the offense is doing, knows where to position themselves and their teammates, and, sees it before it's coming and can go after it and make a quick play. That's more important, especially for a lot of different positions.
Yeah, and speaking of bad combine, Orlando Brown, one of the worst combines of all time. I was curious, where were you? Were you for Leonard Brown was considered a first round pick? I still liked him a lot.
I thought we'd take him when he got to the third round. I mean, honestly, I thought he was still in that fringe, like first. Maybe this guy goes in the second,
Right.
especially after the bad combine. Oh, this guy probably go in the second round. Then he fell to the third. Plus, he had the relationship and background with Marvin Lewis.
Right.
That it seemed like a no-brainer they would take him, and then they passed on him, and the Ravens took him. But, hey, he ended up here. But, yeah, it would have been nice to have him his whole career.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I say, so bad combines, I feel like the Bengals go by combine scores a lot. Usually in the Marvin Lewis era, he always stated game tape. Do you feel like Zach Taylor and what we have now, they relied too much on the combine more than game tape?
I mean, I don't know. I think we do see them get some more athleticism. And I think offensive line, like it's interesting, I try to see what the trends are and the teams that maybe have good offensive line. It seems like offensive line, the athleticism for those guys have kind of been a position that you should have it. I know there's guys like Orlando Brown, but I think Mims, he kind of got hurt during the combine, but he was doing pretty well. And Matt Lee that we got in the 7th, I think he tested really well. So I kind of like it. I know Fairchild didn't test, but I think O-lineman, it just depends on the position. It's just all a piece of the puzzle. I do think tape is ultimately what matters the most, as it should. But, you supplement that with the testing. You supplement that with the character and the reports of these guys and the meetings and seeing, how well they know ball, love ball, stuff like that. But, yeah, it's all part of the puzzle.
Yeah, I get it. It's all part of the puzzle, man. Like I say, I get it. You have to, because when we have Jay Gruden on one time, he said, look, you need to be a big dude. You need to have, the physical attributes and all that. And I get that. But I mean, like I say, what if you have this guy that has all the physical attributes, but doesn't have the attitude or doesn't have the motivation or anything? Like, give me an example. No, you did not. Cedric Ogbuehi had all the physical attributes, had everything, had the long arms, this, that, and the other. But his problem was his mentalness of getting bull rushed all the time. I mean, he had all the physical attributes, Dale, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah. I don't know. The people want to know if there's going to be any dot bot or mouth dancing.
Yeah. God damn it.
He's going to give it to. He's going to make the people happy on a Friday. Send you into your weekend on a good note here.
Hold on 1 second. I think I got.
Oh gosh.
I write down a couple of songs, but I have my head, but then I get blanked all the time. But I can do a couple. I can do one for you here, and all that. Let's see what I can find on here. Give me 1 sec, Dale. 1 sec. Oh, yeah, I got one in mind. You should get this one in a heartbeat, or at least I hope you will. Okay. I may have already done this song, but I don't give a shit. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Give it to us, Greggy.
Hold on.
Oh, that's like pretty fly.
I wish you would step on that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the
know the
lies
song.
that
I don't remember the name of it.
What?
I know the song, but I don't remember the name of it. That's what I always forget the name of these songs.
Jumper by
Fuck if I know.
Third Eye Blind. Are you serious, dude?
I wouldn't even know Jumper, to be honest, but hey, Matt had you.
Matt, you're always coming through for me, buddy. I love you, bro. Matt's always coming for me. I love you. Let's see here, Ryan. You wouldn't know that one. You wouldn't know. Damn it.
This is riveting. Riveting podcasting.
Here we go. I'm going to go simple here. She good girl, loves her mama.
And that is it John Cougar Mellencamp or something?
Are you shitting me?
I don't fucking know.
Are you shitting me?
That's it. Well, who is it?
Free Falling by Tom Petty.
Yeah, I'm free balling. Yeah, free balling.
You fucking thought it was John Cougar Mellencamp?
He's fucking, I don't know. This guy, man, he gets so intense.
But I mean, damn, look, I'm not a music guy myself, but that's like one of the most common songs ever.
No, it sounded familiar.
That sounded familiar.
My favorite hits was Mary Jane. You know.
Okay. All right, fine.
Last dance with Mary Jane. One
All
more
right.
time to kill the pain. That's a good song.
I know you'll be at my show watching.
Yeah, it's Blink 182.
Oh my God! He knows Blink 182, but he don't know Tom Petty here, everybody.
I know who Tom Petty is. I just didn't get that right.
Don't. How do you not know who Tom Petty? Okay, you do. Okay, I'm gonna do one more at you, buddy. You don't let me down on this, because this one should be a piece of cake.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on the song, so yeah.
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Yeah, it's called Stacy's Mom. You literally
there you
said
go.
it right away.
Hey, you had me worried. Now, who's the band?
Man.
I forgot the band.
Sure. I'm not sure I know the name of the band.
Let's see. Anybody knows the name of the band here? Come on.
Who sings Stacy's Mom? Is it Bowling for Soup or something?
And all that.
Oh, Fountains of Wayne.
Yes.
See, I would have never got that.
Fountains of Wayne, Stacy's Mom, and all that. No, the dot bot. I will be trying to do the dot bot in the middle of the field. I'm going to have James be my camera guy and all that. Don't let me down, James. Just kidding. But yeah, I'll be doing the dot bot.
You will have a dot bot, but you have to wait until tomorrow.
You know what I'll do right now?
He's giving you this is like a warm-up dot bot. This is a warm-up dot bot for tomorrow. Oh, yeah. With that Chop Shop shirt on. Check out the Chop Shop at chopshop513.myshopify.com, otherwise known as the Matt's most visited browser site. The man of the people.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Man of the people. I try to be. By the way, go Pacers right now, man.
He did it for the people.
Go Pacers, buddy. Everybody told me they were going to get swept. We're up 2-9.
I thought it'd be a good series because
I don't follow NBA. I used to go to some Pacers games and all that. I used to root against Michael Jordan like crazy. I just loved Reggie Miller. When Reggie Miller made that big shot to beat the Bulls, I'm like, oh, the Pacers are going to do it. Obviously, it didn't happen, but I loved Reggie Miller.
Yeah, I know the Pacers knocked out my Cavs, and I still wish the Cavs were in it, obviously. But I think I've been kind of rooting for the Pacers to win in the finals as well.
Well, they never won a championship. They're a small market. You know the NBA hates this. You have Oklahoma City and Indianapolis. It's true. You know they're hating the hell out of this right now because it's not – okay,
well, they wanted Lakers and Celtics. Celtics won it last year. Let's get LeBron, Luka, and then that didn't happen.
Okay, this is what pisses me off. New York Knicks fans, you guys have sucked. I mean, sucked for years ever since Patrick Ewing left. All of a sudden, you guys are putting your dicks out right now, thinking, "Oh, we're the best team right now. We're the best team right now." Shut the hell up. But Knicks fans, I'm sorry. You guys have been overrated for years, and all of a sudden now you're doing decent. And this is how you all choose to act. Guess what? You guys were up by a bunch, and who's that player for the Pacers that have just been nailing game-winning shots back and forth?
Halliburton.
Halliburton has been draining you guys because you guys got too cocky all the time. I'm sorry, Knicks fans. I'm sorry. You got what you deserved.
I literally did say dicks out for Harambe when I went to get in the shower earlier. So Vince Industri's on the same page because he said maybe their dicks are out for Harambe.
I don't know, but I'm just New York Knicks fans. Oh my gosh, like they just drive me nuts. I just can't stand it. Knicks fans are up there with Browns fans and Cubs fans. Just so many, so annoying fan bases. UK fans as well.
Shut up.
Oh, in high school, Dale, I heard all your talk in high school. I went to high school in Madeira, man. All I had to hear was UK this. You know how many UK fans I got into a fight with? I mean, like they were the
probably
best
zero. Probably zero. You had never been in an actual real fight, Greg.
A verbal fight.
A verbal argument.
Fight.
Verbal fight.
Oh, my English teacher let me have it. He was a diehard UK fan. I wanted to tell him off so badly. When UC was finally playing UK, it was my senior year of high school.
So you could say your English teacher gave it to you in high school?
No, he let me. He was talking smack to me. Yeah. He was talking smack to me. Yeah. Oh my God, Dale.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no, yeah, we didn't get it done against UK, and of course we had to play UK when they had Anthony Davis, which we didn't have a shot at. Give me a chance here. I want to see UC beat UK. Just let me see that happen once.
Well, it's okay, Greg.
Okay, we good.
I know you root for Ohio State secretly as well.
You
But then I have to make you not root for them. So
I hate Ohio
win.
State. Dale, I hate Ohio State. Remember, to refresh everybody here, I kept telling Dale when they played Georgia, keep the faith that was going to happen, that Ohio State got screwed. And Dale just finally said to me, stop rooting for Ohio State.
Just have to stop. And then look what happened. And then he did. He listened to me, and Ohio State won a national championship.
I was a Ducks fan one week, and I was a Longhorn fan the next week. Right when you guys beat the Ducks, I said, oh, Longhorns going to go up your ass, buddy.
Wait a minute. Does this mean we need Greg to root against the Bengals?
There's no way in hell I'm going to say go Browns. I can't do it. Fuck that.
Greg's going to be on here, fucking Steelers jersey, waving one of those terrible towels, and he's doing it for us.
Dale,
come on, Greg. You got to do it for the people.
Shut the fuck up, man. Don't fucking do that, man.
Do you want the Bengals to win the Super Bowl or not?
I grew the beard, Dale. What up? Why don't you do something? How about
you? Oh, and you kept that beard too, haven't you? Because you like it, because you're a man now.
Well, I got it trimmed, but no, I'm never getting rid of it. You talked me into it. I'm like, Dale's not peer pressuring me.
I know you don't look like a fucking pedophile anymore. No beard, Greg. Pedophile. Beard, Greg. Not pedophile.
But
no,
the beard ain't going.
Yeah, you don't want to get rid of that.
Beard ain't going.
You go immediately back to being a pedophile. Oh yeah, he could wear a Big Ben jersey if he does it for the Bengals. I mean, so the Bengals win a Super Bowl.
Dale.
Yeah, Chop's not here. We're gonna have to make sure we bring this up when Chop's back on the show.
No, oh my God, I'm not gonna hear the end of it from Chop.
We'll have to make you a shirt in the Chop Shop, like #1 Steelers fan, Greg Luther. You know, just get it all on there.
Well, no, because my brother-in-law approached me one time. He approached me because he follows the Notre Dame fan. He approached me on Twitter. He approached me. He's like, I got a bone to pick with you. You can be giving me crap. You're not rooting for Ohio State. You're saying go Irish on Twitter and all that. Clearly, he doesn't know what I'm doing.
Yep. And it worked. It worked, buddy. So when Greg roots for your team, you're screwed. The Pacers, now that you said that out loud, the Pacers probably won't win another game in that damn series, Greg. They play tonight. You probably just jinxed the hell out of them, too.
No, I did not.
We shall find out tonight.
We shall see, Dale. We shall see. Dale, I root for Ohio State when they won the championship against Miami, for fuck's sakes, dude. Come on. That was a Miami team that should have blew them out, man.
Yeah, we'll have Greg at games just like with a megaphone being like, Andre Osavash sucks.
Yeah.
Greg's head would probably explode if he had said those words out of his mouth.
I couldn't do that, man. That'd be going against. I would have committed a crime right there, man. There's no way.
You just can't do that. You love him too much. All right, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in. David Fulcher was excellent. If you missed it, go back, check that out. We had him on the first 30 minutes of the show. Great dude, man. Does a lot of stuff for Cincinnati. If you haven't voted for Ring of Honor and you want to toss a vote his way, seems very worthy. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that are worthy. And he was really cool about that. You know, hey, it's going to happen at some point. When it happens, it happens. Him and his family are at peace with the whole thing. But that's, you know, he's also in the College Football Hall of Fame. So that's a really cool thing that he's part of for what he did in college. So, yeah, fantastic player when he was here for the Bengals. Even if it was only for one half in the Super Bowl, Crip, you know, he was still fantastic. Absolutely. But everybody have a great weekend. I love you all. Appreciate you all. We will be back on Monday. You guys are the best. Love you. I got to hit end. So now, Greg.